I'm supposed to be doing. I can't just like...
Yeah.
No, I don't think I do.
Alright, hit record that.
I don't like you at all right now.
Okay. Hello everybody, welcome back to Arno Plays Games. Today, we are playing Life is Strange. Life is Strange. Gotta set a timer.
Okay, I was like, what do you do?
Yeah. Is you ready?
No, I don't think I'm ready for this.
Okay, let's go. So yeah, everybody, welcome back to Arno Plays Games. Today we're playing Life is Strange. I'm joined by my friend Kara.
Hi.
Good to be sitting.
Okay, okay.
Kara. God, this is so far away. Alright, so we're gonna continue from where we left off. If I bought the episode, I don't remember if I did. No, I didn't buy it yet.
Oh my god.
It's okay, I can buy it real quick.
That's an O.
Slight, so good though. I'll just edit this out later.
Okay, cool.
And I'll just have the same intro.
It's like kind of stressful. I'm not gonna lie.
Is it gonna take forever to download?
Well.
Cool.
My curfew is 9, by the way.
Oh my god.
So...
It's okay. We can get like 2 episodes in by then.
Okay. I mean, I don't know.
Actually,
You're
we
kinda
could
slow.
technically get 3 if we only do 10 minutes per episode.
Okay.
Oh,
Should be done like 8:38. Oh my god. I'm so done with you. I remember in your video you're like, oh yeah, like I just need to like know.
I just I thought I would have bought it by now. This is a fun little moment. Alright, so let's talk. We can entertain the audience while this is happening. I might just put like a screen, like Arno Payne, like a podcast or something.
Random podcast.
So
okay.
how do you feel about being on the channel?
Yeah. It's great.
Oh yeah. What do you mean? It's great.
I mean, I've been watching a bunch of your videos, so it's nice to, be on one that I consciously knew I was gonna be on, of like Star Wars, where I didn't know.
That was freaking.
And then I started watching, and it was long.
It was an hour long.
Yeah, I know.
I remember when I was doing the live streams with Remy at his house, but we'd live stream it through Facebook, so my phone would be like propped up on the thing, and it'd be faced towards the screen, so it was pretty bad. But now I'm gonna try to get him over again to record Lego Star Wars.
Yes, except I hate Lego Star Wars.
I won't invite you over.
Okay, well, good, because I don't want to be here.
But you're gonna watch it.
I mean, I don't know about that. Those are too long. That's like an hour.
It's all good.
No, it's not. You need to make it shorter. Oh my god, it's not even downloading that much. I'm gonna murder you.
Arno Plays Games, everyone. This is some great quality content. They won't even be seeing this up because I have a screen up, so they won't know. So let's just
They
keep
won't
talking.
know what?
About this.
About this whole thing.
About this, yeah. They won't see that. It's a podcast. Arno Payne podcast, everyone. Arno Payne. Here we go.
No.
Plays Games
I'm scared.
podcast. All right. So let's just talk about some stuff.
Okay, do you want to talk about your school stuff?
That's so personal.
I mean, why not get personal?
I don't talk about school stuff on my
What do you talk about
my
then?
channel, especially when it hasn't happened yet.
Okay. What do you talk about? Like,
I just talk about stuff, I guess.
you're so general.
That's what I talk about. I don't know.
Okay, what is your hope for
You've
this?
watched my videos. What do you mean? What do you talk about?
Okay, yeah, but you talk about really general stuff most of the time, unless you're, I don't know, I guess cooking stuff. then it's not general.
What do you mean?
Like,
What do you mean
at
it's
the
not?
beginning.
What?
Okay, let's just move on.
How is it not general
Can we just
stuff?
move on
Makes no
to
sense.
the next topic? I have another question.
Okay, what's up? Any questions about?
If you were gonna dye your hair,
Oh god.
well, what would you dye it?
Probably. I don't know. Like if I was really gonna do it, I would do it white. Like bleach it all the way white.
Why that color?
Cause I haven't done it. That's the only color I want to do. Really. I mean, other than like blue, maybe. But I don't even know if I want to do blue.
Which blue? Like,
or like
what
a
blue?
or like a teal maybe.
Okay, yeah, that'd be pretty.
Or like a have like blue on the top and then like green at the bottom and then have them like kind of like blend in the middle.
You also have a beard though.
Yeah, I'll just
So
yeah.
interesting.
It's whatever.
It's just gonna be an interesting look.
I had blonde hair with the beard.
Yeah, but I feel like it's different.
No, cause my beard hair is still a different color than my hair
Yeah, I know.
and my eyebrows. My eyebrows are darker than everything.
Yeah. Some dark ass eyebrows. And they're thick as fuck too.
I'm done. I don't get my eyebrows done though. That's why they're thick as fuck. Cause the bitches be like trimming them down, making them look like someone like drew it in with a thin ass pencil. I saw a post once online that was like, well, it may be ugly, but at least when I clean my face, my eyebrows don't come off.
Damn. Damn.
That's pretty good.
Okay, fam, I don't think it's gonna happen tonight.
This is
I think you need to call it
good.
quits.
No, this is a good podcast. This is a good
Okay, yeah.
podcast. It's still recording too. Surprising.
Well, why would it stop recording?
Sometimes it's just it bugs out.
Yeah, or you're just, a little bit retarded.
But yeah, let's just keep going. I think this is
No
good.
comment.
I think we can just do this for like half an hour and then like if you need to leave, you can leave.
Damn, are you saying I'm not important to the video
No,
game?
you are. Just
Uh-huh.
we can't really do anything else. Even if we tried to play another game, this would slow down the.
Yeah, it's not even like.
So, don't know, but it's a podcast. You gotta. It's a podcast, all right. Just act like it's a podcast. Just boom.
I wasn't prepared for a podcast. You didn't give me questions. You didn't give me a heads up.
It's not like a Q&A. What do you? Podcast should just be anything. It's like a normal conversation. You want to go like deep into some life questions right now?
Why not?
Like, do you think we're real? Okay, so like.
Oh my god, no!
In the Assassin's Creed game that I was playing earlier, Origins, there was this point where, like, they broke the fourth wall basically, and like the guy talking to you in the game is talking to like Layla, the main character, like in the modern day.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying like, how do you know that any of this is real, like is seeing someone's pure red blood real, is seeing someone's body real, like all that stuff. And I was thinking about like we would consider that to be real, right?
Yeah.
But so would a simulation.
Yeah.
If it had the same thing. So like, how would you know if something's real if like we consider real to be like if blood comes out of someone, because that could just be simulated blood.
Okay. Maybe.
How would you consider this to be real life?
Well, the obvious question is like through your senses, but then it's like, how are your senses like not being deceived?
Right. How are your senses not being simulated?
Yeah, but I just don't
Someone
think
could
we're
have
that
just programmed
smart.
your senses.
I don't think
Yeah,
we're that smart.
no, we're not that smart. Someone else is, though.
Are you saying there's aliens out there?
I don't think it's aliens. I think it's humans that were here before us, and then they want to like take over, and they've already taken over. So they basically created a huge video game where it's like based on like politics, money, and like there are video games out there like that where it's like Civilization Revolution. In that game, you like take over other people and you get money and all that stuff, and like, so it's basically like a simulation.
But I don't think we would have choices because they couldn't like control everything, you know?
No.
How would they know when to do what?
In video games, you can have choices. Like in this game, you can have different choices.
Yeah, but
so maybe
they don't even know what choices we're gonna do, or like
what if they do though? They can just
How?
put because they can put what you think inside of your brain.
No, I don't think
no. I have a theory. Just like Life is Strange, they program into the game what they are going to feel. They program into the game the two choices that you have to end up picking from. So they feel like that they're going to choose either one of those choices because it's programmed into them to choose those things. But they think that they thought them. They're not like, oh, it's just a video game. They're just like, well, these are the two choices because I thought of them. But what if that's happening to us as well? Like, what if there's more choices but we don't know it? It's just because we were programmed with those choices that we choose either one.
Okay, true. But, like, in the video games...
How are you not...
You can
how are
only
you
go
sure
to
that
certain
this is not a video game? Yeah, you can only go certain places here, though.
No, I mean, yeah.
Earth limits you. There are video games that are, like, as big as Earth, in a manner of speaking. Like, are an entire world that you can travel to. And there's video games where you can travel to other planets.
Okay.
So how would you say that it's not as big? I could say video games are even bigger than the real world.
Then why would there be so much, like, pain and suffering? Like, in video games, you don't really see that as much. Like, even if the characters are on your side and you, like, hit one of them, they're not gonna, you know, like in Assassin's Creed.
No, they do. Well, yeah. Well, in Assassin's Creed, maybe not so much, but, like, it's, like, video games, like, Halo and, like, Call of Duty and shit, like, if you shoot them, they're gonna shoot you back.
Okay.
So I would say that they were simulating, like, if you did shoot your friends, they would shoot you back, kind of like real life.
I just feel like there would be a break in the system at some point, like, because nothing's perfect. And I feel like I haven't ever experienced that. And dreaming...
What do you mean? Like, nothing is perfect. Like,
yeah.
Basically, our lives could be a video game. There's a problem in our life, right? And it's money. That could be, like, the basis of the video game. And the goal is to, like, see how many years the world can go just by running on, like, a thing of money. So maybe that's, like, the video game they created.
I don't know. Because if the goal of the game was to get more money and then you'd be happier, then, like, rich people wouldn't...
No, but the goal... No. I would say the goal of the game is to just, like, throw money into a simulation of people that are in a simulation and just see what they would do with it. And you program all the choices that they could have. You program them with, like, 100 choices of what they would do with the money. And they would, like, kind of take it in as their own, but they would just randomly choose from any of the choices, which is technically what we would do.
Okay. Well, I feel like what you're saying... Okay, it makes sense, but I don't like the way that you're saying it, like, simulation, like, it's cold. I don't know.
Yeah, but how do you know we're not in a simulation?
I feel like that's religion. You're just describing religion. Like, switch out simulation with, like, God or fate. It's, like, the same thing.
You just lost me.
Because you're saying, like, a simulation, if it isn't real, or... I guess what... Okay, I'm gonna go off the point of when you were, like... Your choices are, like, pre-programmed and all of that. And that there's some outside force that's controlling things in a subtle way.
Right.
That would be, like, fate or God, too. So you're just exchanging words for concepts that are already, like, in existence. So, I don't agree with the word choice. Yeah, but
religion, like, revolves around there being, like, more of a spirit and less of a human kind of essence into it. And, like, controlling from beyond, and was there before us. I believe, though, however, that it is a simulation that is being controlled by humans that continue to have their own generations and lines of people that still control it to this day.
Okay. But it's still kind of the same concept. And also, like, when you say simulation, are you talking about, like, everything being fake, or...
I feel like it's not the same concept.
It kind of is.
Because God is one thing. God has never been
Depends on the religion.
God has never no, but like okay, for one religion, God has never been like a goat, a wall, a human, a car. No, God is like one thing, right?
Well, in Catholicism,
God never
Jesus,
changes.
I don't know about that. That's not completely
God
true.
stays one. It's a spirit. It's a form, whatever you want to call it. It is that thing.
But how would you?
Because
Okay.
to say that anything compares with a god is a disgrace to that god, right? Like to say that this man portrays God is a disgrace to religion, right? Like you can't
To
just be like
yeah.
because
But then there's Jesus, so it gets
yeah, but
tricky.
people don't call Jesus God.
But that's what he is in Catholicism. Like he is a representation of
But
God.
would you in your
And is
religion
God.
would you believe that Jesus is God?
Okay, he's a part of the Trinity, which is God. So yeah, he is. It's really confusing.
He's not God,
No.
but he's part of God.
No, he.
You just said that he
is
was
in
a
his
part
own
of
way.
it.
Yeah, because it's confusing. Because the Trinity is a part of God, but at the same time, like it is God. It's really confusing. I don't even know how to explain it so well, but like, it's complicated.
But I would also argue that in a simulation, that they could just program religions into the game as well.
Yeah.
And have people believe in those religions. So how would you then go to say that like a religion is different if the people that programmed the game also programmed you to say that it's different? Like how do you not know that they're not just programming you to say like, oh no, it's different? Like they're programming you to say like you're against it because they need a fail-safe in the system of people to say that they don't think there's something else controlling them because the people who made it don't want other people to find out.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know for sure anything. I just...
So, like, they created religious people to, like, keep the secret.
I don't know. It just seems like too much of a conspiracy theory for me to actually...
Well, I mean, that's all it is. It's like, everything's a conspiracy theory.
Okay,
like,
and also, I wouldn't
not
want
knowing
life...
the facts. But you couldn't,
yeah.
like, how would you ever realistically find out? Because it's not like it's like headgear that you can just like take off.
Okay, what
right?
about people who have supposedly died and then come back, like near-death experiences? They don't talk about there being a simulation. They talk about there being some sort of like
okay,
spirit
but
thing.
you
Okay.
can drop out of a simulation, go back into the world, and be like, oh shit, this is it, and then someone like drugs you, and they make you forget.
Okay, but this is all assuming that they have that stuff. What if they don't? But what
That
if they
makes no
don't?
sense,
No,
Kara.
you're assuming that they are all like have all this power, but you don't even know that.
What do
You're
you
just
mean?
you're just thinking of things to like put into place.
No, but
like, you don't know.
No, but I'm saying that's what I.
But
think
why do you
is
even
happening.
believe that? How do you even have?
Because how else would you say that we were here in the first place? Because humans cannot just randomly appear, right?
Yeah, but we
because the way
evolved.
that people see it is that we just like either one just appeared out of thin air because religion, or two that we evolved from fucking parasites or whatever it's
Yeah,
called.
bacteria and stuff.
Bacteria, yeah.
Yeah. And actually now Catholicism recognizes that like evolution is a thing. And
It does, but
yeah.
do you?
Yeah,
Would
I'm not-
you be able to yourself be able to look at bacteria and say that this one day would be a human? Because
That's not
eventually
how
it could evolve,
evolution
right?
Works, but yeah, I could, because you can find so many similarities between everything on Earth. So like,
But you're
yeah.
saying that bacteria eventually becomes a person, right? Through evolution, right? So you could factually say that if you were looking at bacteria, you could say that it's becoming a person.
You can't look at already existing bacteria and say that it's becoming a person.
But it was bacteria that was
Yeah.
existing.
Yeah. But you can't look at the bacteria that there is now and say it's...
So you would
evolving
say
into
the
that.
bacteria isn't the same at all. So you would say that the first bacteria, I guess, that first came, shouldn't even be called bacteria. That it should be called something else.
No, it can be
Because the
called
bacteria that we consider now is not the bacteria that we used to have.
But just... Okay, the bacteria that evolved isn't bacteria anymore. So, like, you can't... Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
It's one or the other.
So then why would you say that the bacteria now can't evolve just like the bacteria before?
I'm not saying
it's still
can't.
bacteria.
I'm not
so
saying
it could
they
evolve.
can't evolve, but if it already exists, that's not how evolution works. Like, right now, as you aren't technically evolving, like, DNA-wise, unless it makes a mistake.
No, right, but you could say that then bacteria could evolve into humans again. If we were all to die out now, and there were still bacteria around, you could then presumably say that bacteria becomes a human again.
Yeah, but evolution's about, like, random chance in a way, because it's about DNA making a mistake and making something new. I don't know. I haven't
But
gone
if it
too
made a
deep
mistake
into it.
once, then it could make it again.
Yeah, possibly.
And plus it made all other animals as well. So obviously there was more than one mistake. Because it didn't just stop at animals.
Yeah. Unless you take into account some form of religion to explain the rest of it.
Oh my God.
But I don't really know.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily
that
believe in religion, so...
Well, that's kind of broad. You can't say... Unless you... Well, I guess you could say that, but... There's so many different types of religions. And I feel like each of them have, like, pieces.
All I'm saying is that I don't necessarily believe that we popped in out of nowhere, but I also don't necessarily believe that we evolved from bacteria.
And how do you explain all the stuff that connects us back to it?
I feel like that's just like a safe thing to assume. It's like, oh, it's like the smartest way to just be like, oh, yeah, we obviously came from this thing, which turned into this thing, because that makes sense to you, right? But it doesn't make sense to think about something that doesn't make sense, right? So you think about the thing that makes sense because it makes sense to you, everyone then says that it's the truth. But what if it's not the truth? Like, just because it makes sense doesn't mean it's the truth, right? Just because you can easily agree with it does not mean that it is the truth.
I don't know.
Are there hard scientific facts that you know about bacteria evolving into humans?
Not that I personally know, but I bet there's some out there.
Right, and we were always like, oh, the scientists. But literally anyone could be a scientist. You could label anyone as a scientist if they just discovered something, right? So I feel like we glorify scientists and, like, religious nobles, and we, like, put them on this pedestal of, like, oh, they discovered it, they know how it is, they wrote it in the books, so we're gonna believe that.
Okay, but from the scientist standpoint, they had to have evidence for that to even be a thing.
So are you saying that a religious noble doesn't have evidence behind creation?
Well, first
because
of all,
you just said that a scientist would have to have evidence. But
for it
then
to be a
would you
theory,
then
because that's
say,
how science works. That's not how religion works, technically.
So you don't have to have evidence behind religion. So what do you have to have?
Faith. That's legit what faith, like,
so you just have to believe. You have to be like, I believe that this happened. But also,
I find that people have their own reasons for being religious.
Because technically then, science is a religion. Because you're just having faith in other scientists that lived and died before us. Because you're just believing in what they discovered. What if what they discovered isn't true at all, though?
Yeah.
Because we've also made discoveries in the past that came out to not be true.
Yeah, so then you disprove the theory. But nobody, I guess, no scientist in this whatever age has disproven that we came from bacteria or whatever. Like, there's no new evidence. You'd have to find evidence against it.
But there was never necessarily evidence for it.
Yeah, so why would it wouldn't be a theory.
So why is it though? Do you know the evidence? Because
not personally.
I'm saying that there is no evidence, so I believe that it does not exist.
But have you even looked for evidence for it?
Have you looked for evidence? You are agreeing with it, and yet you have no evidence.
Because
how are you to agree with? Okay, but how are you to agree with something if you have no evidence about it?
Because in school they gave us evidence. I just can't think of it right now,
like,
off on the spot.
Like, two people, like, rob a bank, and then there's just a person sitting in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
A group of 90 people out of 100 tell you that the person sitting at the bank actually robbed the bank, and the other two people didn't. Would you believe them just because they were the majority? Because the majority of people are like, oh yeah, well, it was Frank.
Okay, well, first of all, most people in the same situation, like witnesses, don't see things the same way, so that wouldn't really happen. That wouldn't be likely. Like, if you...
But you could also see, like, science and religion as just people not seeing things the same way. But similar ways to achieve it.
Okay.
Because in a way, science and religion are a lot like each other. There's a
Yeah.
lot of theories on both sides.
And I'm not saying that science couldn't be its own religion. I'm just saying...
Well,
that's how
science
it
is trying to
works.
get away from religion on relying on a heavy set of evidence. But if you look at it from a broad perspective,
You still...
science and religion are basically the same thing.
Because you still need faith in both of them.
Yeah,
and, like,
because
trust.
you just believe this one dude who's telling you all this stuff.
Yeah, but usually they
exists.
have evidence.
Their evidence is this thing, and why is it evidence? Because just trust me, I'm a scientist.
No, because
'Cause I went
other
to school
scientists
for
are
this.
really, like, proud and stuff. And so if you're wrong, they're going to try and disprove you.
Yeah, but how do you disprove someone that has a whole bunch of money and then like a whole bunch of scientists also backing them? Because if scientists see discovering something as just a way of getting money, then why not agree with it?
Yeah, but
Because then you'll just get a whole bunch of money at the end of the
I
day.
feel like most scientists, at least way back then, it wasn't, like, a high-paying job. Because some of the scientists were monks.
You would
and,
still
like,
be
priests.
renowned and like famous and known as like a good person though.
Maybe, but
And there have
how...
been a lot of scientists that have been known to be able to like get women from like discovering shit.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's funny. Okay. Man, I don't know.
I mean, you don't find it hot that like the dude who invented the Mars Curiosity rover like got it to Mars and like, it's been roaming around now.
I don't know, it doesn't really turn me on, but if he was like a good...
Discovery
I
doesn't
don't-
turn you on.
No.
You're saying mysteriousness doesn't turn you on. So
No, wait, you
are then-
can't say
No.
discovery of the mysterious. Those are
Because it
two
is
different
mysteriousness. It is discovery. It is
Discovery is the
discovering an
opposite.
entire new planet. Because
No,
you are
no.
discovering the mysteriousness. You're like, oh, there's a mystery, but now let's discover the truth.
Okay. Okay.
Do you not like discovery?
What? No, I'm just saying it doesn't turn me on particularly. And I'm not gonna tell you what does, cause, like, no. What turns you on? Discovery, the Animal Planet
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah, totally.
channel.
No.
Yeah, I
would
feel like you're
say-
into that.
I would say, you know,
No, don't say it.
particular
Don't
women
say it.
and
Shut the
men
fuck up. Oh
of
my god.
certain characteristics that I find attractive in
That's
them.
so fucking general.
And discovery.
Shut up. Done.
Doesn't it excite you when you discover something and then you too can do that something?
Okay, it
Like when
excites
you-
me, but it doesn't turn me on. I'm not like,
No,
oh,
no,
let me have sex
no,
right now.
But by turn on, I don't mean necessarily become horny. By turn on, I just mean like it's like a pro for
okay,
you
but
instead
that's
of a
what
con.
I was
'Cause
talking
it's not a con
about.
and it's not neutral, right? So it technically, in a technical sense, it turns you on in a way of getting you on the pro side, right?
Yeah, but I was talking about the
It's not
sexual
turning you
stuff.
off, because turning you off would be a con, right?
Yeah,
Not feeling anything is neutral. Turning you on would be a pro, right?
yeah. But I wasn't talking about it like
No,
that.
but I'm relating sexual activity to this.
Okay.
I don't think you're understanding me.
No, I don't think you're understanding.
No. Because pros and cons, right?
Yeah.
Turn-ons and turn-offs, right?
I'm going down to, like, the basis of turn on. Like, not, oh, do these qualities, like, make them a good person that I want to be with type
No. I'm saying you would consider a turn-on as, like, a good thing. And you would
Yeah.
consider a turn-off as a bad thing.
Yeah.
And you would consider a pro as a good thing and a con as a bad thing,
Yeah.
right? At the simplest level, they are the same thing.
What do you mean?
A
What
turn-on
the
is
same
a pro,
thing? Yeah.
and a turn-off is a con, right?
Yeah. I never said
So would you say that a con is a turn-off?
Yeah.
Would you then be able to say, like,
What are you getting at?
you
Just
like
get
you
to
don't
it.
like something, so then it's instantly a turn-off? Not necessarily sexually. It's just that it's a turn-off because it is a con. It's another way of saying a con. It's like a synonym
Okay.
of con, right?
Okay. So what do you like? No, just.
I
go to
was
what
just
you're
like
saying.
I was just comparing the two. I was like trying to like bring it down to like a base level. That it's just like it's like the same thing.
Okay. But like, how does it relate back?
I don't remember what I was saying necessarily, but I was comparing the two.
Okay, well I understand, but I just don't know
I don't
how
remember.
we got here.
I'm sure. Like when I watch this
Yeah.
later, I'll like know. I don't remember what I was saying.
I think we got pretty far in this talk.
Is the
Should
timer
we,
been going? Or?
I mean, it's 1 minute to like.
It's 8:30.
Yeah.
Do you want to end this right now?
I don't know. It's up to you. We should. If we don't end it now, we should end it in like 10 minutes. 10 or 15.
Okay. So what do you want to talk about now?
God.
Because I talked about what I wanted to talk about.
I feel like that was a group effort. You can't just say.
No, but I talked about what I wanted to talk about though. Like I brought up that I wanted to talk about it.
Okay. But still talk to you.
Jesus
Right.
Christ. That was hella long.
That was rough. I just really don't like the idea of everything being a simulation. I feel like that makes me kind of biased.
Because you don't like the idea of someone watching your every move and having someone control your every move.
Well, it just feels really cold and kind of like disconnected and
Because then you feel like everything that you do is calculated.
kind of.
So then nothing is spontaneous. So then nothing you ever do is random or fun. It's just someone like telling you to go do those things pretty much. It's like playing Sims. Also, Sims
I don't feel like I'm that
is
retarded
short for
though.
simulator.
You know, just not having. I don't know.
I wouldn't say you're retarded either. I'm saying we're programmed to do what we do.
I know, but that
We
doesn't
could be
mean
programmed
we
to
don't have
evolve and
anything.
change through life.
I just feel like they would have made us more like cool or something.
No,
given us
because they were
something.
just like, what if I
Wouldn't
just
they
make
have
this
been
one look like
bored?
this?
Wouldn't they be bored by now? Like, what are we
No,
doing
because
that's
then
not
they like
interesting?
changed other people physically.
What is the point?
Like there's some really short people, some really tall people, some people with like only one arm, some people with like. I don't know,
Okay, so
3
then
arms,
what's the
maybe?
point of the whole simulation?
To find out what it would end up turning into.
But why would they want to know that? Because if they already have their society and shit, like
Because
why?
it's just entertainment.
But it's not even that entertaining, I feel like, if they already know what's gonna happen.
But okay, but then you could also say the same thing about like an Assassin's Creed game. Like I already know what's gonna happen. All these people in this game are so old anyway that they're all gonna die. So like playing this game is kind of pointless because it's basically just showing that history repeats itself of a leader taking over, fucking everything up, and then the people that are underneath have to like fix it, right?
Yeah.
All through history, we've witnessed that. So what's the point of me playing a video game that simulates that,
Because
right?
you're like acting in it though. You get to control with the controller,
Right.
but they don't get
They
to control
are
us.
acting in it.
No,
They're
they
controlling
don't get to
us.
control us with the
They're
controllers.
controlling us.
No,
Karen.
how? Nobody is telling my arm to do this.
Are you
I'm
sure?
doing this because I'm angry.
Are you sure?
Yes,
Maybe
I
someone
am.
decided to activate your angry, I don't know,
Fuck
like
you.
emoticon
No,
or
stop.
whatever.
No.
No, I'm being
This
serious.
is, I
though.
know, but and you have a point. Like I can see your point, but just like the way I feel about it, it's just a no.
When you play Sims, you can end up making a Sim happy, sad, mad, cry, have sex, get a job.
But what
buy a
about all
house.
those emotions?
So what if we're
like
just a
split
more advanced
emotions?
version of Sims?
I don't think we are, because you know, sometimes I seem bipolar because I'm like all over the place.
Yeah, but what if that's just because they're like, oh, what if we just make her do this? Exactly.
I don't think so. I just don't
Exactly.
believe
No,
in
no,
it.
no, no, no.
I don't.
I just don't think you're considering.
No, because
I think you're stuck
no,
behind a wall.
because you don't have any proof.
And you're not realizing that there's another side of the wall.
No, you don't have any proof. At least with religion,
But you don't have any
there's
proof against
experiences.
it. We have proof.
I have the proof that there is no proof.
We have proof of the fact of there being the potential of
Yeah.
a simulation. Because what if those Sims in that game are also like, what? They can't be controlling us. We're Sims. We're not.
But they don't have
fucking
any
fake.
consciousness.
How do you know? What if
How
they're
would
saying
they-
we
okay.
don't have consciousness because we're just thinking what
What
they
are they
want
watching
to
us
think.
through? That is on
Cameras.
a TV screen, though.
Cameras. Whatever.
It's not a physical place. This is a physical place.
That is a physical place. What are you talking about?
No, it's in a little...
They can just be watching us through like a TV as well.
The TV and the games that are in there, when you play a video game, it's not actually in there. It's just like a series of codes that created that. It's not a physical thing.
Like a series of codes that created us as well.
Like...
Series of codes that created us as well.
Okay, then you'd be talking...
So how do you not know?
Well, there is a bunch of math that, like, exists in the world, but I don't think it's...
Exactly.
I don't think... No, because...
The amount of math that we use in real life could be the same amount of math that we use in a video game.
And then how would you even describe how the molecule thing, like the theory works that I told you about? Where when we look at it,
because
it
they
changes.
programmed us to do that.
I don't know. I don't know if they're that smart.
How do you know if we were smart enough to create something dumber than us? Maybe they're able to do the same thing.
But who even are...
They're smart enough to create something dumber than them, and that's all of our existence.
But
and then we were smart enough to create something dumber than us, which is these video games that we have.
How do you know?
How do you not know?
Okay, but how do you know?
I'm just considering. I'm giving it potential. I'm giving it room to be able to be a thing.
Does it make you a better person to think it? Like, if that's what you believed hardcore.
It's not necessarily what I believe. I'm just letting there be room for the open possibility that there is a simulation and that someone is controlling.
Okay, I'll give it a 5% possibility.
Oh my god.
But I honestly feel like if I gave it an 80% possibility, it would make me a worse person, like in my daily life, because then it'd be like, wow, humans are that bad that they would create this fucking game with all this pain and for entertainment.
We do that in these video games. In Assassin's Creed, the basis of the game is to go and kill people, and then they add sweet ass graphics. They add all kinds of different weapons, different outfits. They add money systems and everything, and they tell you go kill this. There's a story to us as well.
Yeah, but...
Donald Trump is president. People are mad. Boom. Story right there. Where does the story start? With every citizen on the Earth. I was going to say United States of America, but it's also affecting other people on Earth. There is a story. There's always a story.
I don't remember the point I was trying to get at.
Because if there is a problem... and if there is a possible solution, then you have a story. All you have to do is have a streamline of events.
Yeah. But in that video game, if you kill someone, they come back to life. If you die here, you don't come back to life.
Not necessarily. There are some video games where if you kill a video game character, they do not come back to life.
Okay, but in most video games. Or at least
But those are just what we simulated.
Yeah. But, okay, so if we're saying this is like a simulation...
But maybe this is like the most realistic video game that's ever been created by them.
Would you say... Okay, how about this? Would you say those video games that you've played are those other worlds? Like, would you say that?
What do you mean?
Like, if you're gonna compare shit... How... You know how I said the comment about how I thought human beings are horrible if they just created this simulation... And you're saying we created that simulation, so you would have to say that that is a real world, like, in existence.
Yeah. I would say that they also have the same thing of us as, like, oh, we're not fake.
I don't think they're conscious, though.
But then that means we're not conscious.
But we are conscious.
But then how do you know that they aren't? Because we could be... Look, people could be looking at us right now through a TV screen, and we have no idea, right? We're 3D objects in a world, right? 3D objects in a world, right?
Well,
that's all video games are today. They're 3D. Yeah, they're 3-dimensional.
Okay.
There are 3-dimensional physics that go into video games like this. There are also 2-dimensional games.
Yeah. Okay, I got you. Keep going.
So there are 2-dimensional games and there are 3-dimensional games.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, but also
in real life, we can also see the same thing.
Yeah,
There's also 2-dimensional things to us.
Aren't there 4 dimensions in life or some shit and we just can't see it?
Technically, there's ultimate amount of dimensions, but you can't... Like, if you saw those dimensions, you would basically die. Like, your mind would explode. Because you couldn't handle it. Because, like, imagine a 2D image trying to look at a 3D image. Like, it would not be able to process it.
I don't know. I don't know why I'm so against the idea of this being a simulation, but I just am.
Because you want to believe that you are making your own decisions and that you're conscious about every decision that you're making and that you're not just pre-programmed to feel a certain way when you hit a certain age, right? But if you think about it, age is just a number, right? Age could then be equated to like leveling up in a video game.
Okay.
I'm level 13. I just hit the puberty level. Da da da. You know, I get upgraded with this, this, and this, but then I get downgraded with this, this, and this. It's basically just like a video game.
Okay.
You level up and you get pros and cons as you go along.
But I feel like to get to that level, there's so many connections that brought us there than just like, oh, I was programmed with this knowledge, because I wasn't. Like, I had to go through
No, but you're programmed with the ability to grow in your knowledge as you increase through the numbers, right? Which is the same way that it is, that we exist.
Maybe, but some people don't grow. Like, some people just
because they're programmed that way.
Maybe. I don't know.
I'm not.
How do you explain like a really smart person not doing anything about anything?
Because they programmed them that way.
But why would they give them all those tools?
Because why not? They were just like, oh, look, this is fun. What if we just did this? Let's see how the other characters in the game react.
And why would they create so many of the same situations over and over again?
Because they were like, oh, I like that. Imagine that.
So they like the part of war?
Imagine that this isn't even one video game. This is multiple video games span out, just like we do it, like Assassin's Creed is. Mm-hmm. The same situation happening over and over, right? Same situation happening over for us, right? Mm-hmm. What if it's the same thing? What if we're not even in totally one video game? What if we're being transferred over from video game to video game? So sometimes when you see some like weird shit, is because like someone made their own like version of that video game that's a little weird, right? Or if you hear some weird shit, like it's just another weird version of the game that you're in, but you're still like technically in the same game, but just another iteration of it.
Okay. From some things that you said, I could agree that the way things are going, the universe could maybe seem to work like a simulation, not in the sense that it's fake, but in the sense that there's something controlling stuff. I'm going to say that, but I don't know necessarily that the way that I think and the way that I feel about stuff is like pre-programmed.
How would you know?
I don't know, but...
How can you disagree with it when maybe your disagreement is pre-programmed into your agreement system?
Maybe. It's just...
I'm not trying to say that this is the way life is. I'm just saying, like, this is what I'm open to, of, like, the possibility of life being like.
I just don't feel like I would be as tortured with all of my decisions as I am if it was just...
They programmed you to feel that, though.
Yeah, but that would be useless.
Not really. It's a simulation to see how it'll, like, pan out. There are plenty of simulation games just to, like, see how things work out. Like, there are little simulation games where you can, like, make a pigeon go against a tank. Like, there are stupid enough simulation games out there that, like, do that kind of stuff. So what if we're just another simulation game?
I feel like we're more real than that. I don't know how...
Yeah, because we're the more realistic version of it.
I don't know.
Because they're smarter than us.
Do you believe we have a soul then? Because you can't program a soul. You can't even see a soul.
I mean, in that realm, yeah, I think we wouldn't have a soul.
So,
I think we
like
just,
in this one,
I think we just live our pre-programmed lives.
I don't think so.
In a way.
That's so
I'm not saying I totally
horrible.
agree with that. I'm saying just like in that theory, that's what I would say.
I think I have a soul.
That's what the game pre-programs you to think.
No, because then why would they even program you to think of all these things? You know, it's just...
Because why not? Because it's a simulation, Kara. They give you all the information and knowledge, and they want to see what happens in the simulation. Because they're smarter than us. So of course there are going to be some people on Earth that are smarter than you and I, and there are going to be people that are dumber than you and I.
How did you figure it out if they're so smart?
I don't know. Maybe because they wanted me to just have that information and then to just never be able to do anything with it. Because what can I do with it? Nothing.
Yeah, because you can't prove it to anyone.
Because I'm not necessarily a body in their world. I could just be a digital version of a human body. So I could technically never do anything with the information because I'm programmed into their world. I can't necessarily disconnect because I was never connected in the first place. I was never disconnected in the first place, and I was never reconnected.
Okay.
I was just programmed into there.
Okay, so let's say...
I'm just a 3D model able to do all this shit.
Let's say that this is true. This is what you believe. So then why do you do anything? If it doesn't matter,
Because I'm
does it
programmed
still
to
matter?
feel like I need to do something. Because maybe my part of the simulation is to create like a temporarily better world for other people. And then eventually it'll just collapse on itself again.
Why would it even matter if like everyone is already pre-programmed, so they'll either already be programmed.
Even if you didn't look,
not.
okay, even if you throw the simulation thing away, right?
Okay.
If you look at all of the past events that have happened on Earth, why would you ever do anything?
That's true. That's so true.
Because history repeats itself all the time. We always have a leader who fucks something up, but then we continue to be like, oh, well, we need a leader. But then it just happens again, right?
Mm.
We keep on making the same mistakes, but then we're like, oh, we need to have a leader, right?
Yeah. But we've
Because that's
also
the way
made some good stuff too, like technology-wise. We've
Right.
made some improvements. So you have to take the good and the bad into account. And I think that's why we still do stuff, because we take in the good too.
Because we want to make the simulation as painless as possible, but it's still going to be painful.
Well,
We're still experiencing the simulation.
I don't know. That hole looks like a finger, and I think I'm done. And it's 8:45, so. Oh. Conversation to be continued.
Why'd you say the time? Because now they're going to be like, oh.
Because you said 8:30 earlier.
Yeah, but they could watch this at any time. Just be like, whatever.
I don't know. Maybe it's because the
But now you
simulation.
brought it up again.
The simulation
Shut up.
programmed me
No,
to.
you're being
So
stupid
you can't be
now.
mad at me since
Alright.
it's all programmed.
Thank you guys for watching Arno Plays Games. We didn't play a game, but this has been a wonderful podcast.
Technically, we are a game, so.
I will see you guys in the next one. This is Arno signing out. Pew!